Alright peeps, how's tricks? So this is a review for the Peaky Blinders Immortal Man. Is it a fitting end to the series or is it a new beginning? Well, we start in Germany in 1940 in a concentration camp, and the Nazis are planning to end the war by flooding the market with hundreds of millions of pounds into the British economy. And Beckett, played by Tim Roth, is the Nazi agent that's going to be leading the charge. Now we see that the Jews, they're all in the pinstripes, they're doing the notes, the Nazis are checking them, and then you see them board a train ready to flood the market. And the guy that he's going to be liaising with is Duke Shelby, Tommy's gypsy son, and he's going to be the guy that they're going to use to end the war by overwhelming our economy with counterfeit banknotes. And then we go to Tommy Shelby. Now Tommy Shelby has been in isolation for about 7 years. He's living in his dilapidated mansion. He's haunted by the death of his daughter Ruby and also Arthur Shelby. Now everyone believes that Arthur Shelby committed suicide, but he didn't. Tommy murdered him because he was drunk, he was on drugs, he was racked with grief about his daughter Ruby, and the truth is he just wanted to be rid of Arthur and the trouble that Arthur brought to Peaky Blinders and Tommy Shelby's door. But the thing is, I don't think that was originally part of the plan or part of the story, because Paul Anderson in real life is struggling with mental health issues and drink and drug issues. He doesn't look like he's in the best condition, and I think he also had problems with the cast on set. So I think that was written in as a plot device, and it also helps to bring like Tommy and the Peaky Blinders and that generation full circle. I think, you know, you don't see Finn Shelby. He's been excommunicated at the end of season 6. He doesn't play a part in it, but Johnny Dogs is there, and Ada comes to Tommy Shelby and says, look, you've got to come back. You know, there was an explosion, you know, the Blitz, they dropped the bombs on a Birmingham munitions plant, killed a lot of people, all women, and Duke Shelby's running the Peaky Blinders like it's 1919 all over again, worse than Tommy ever was. And also, he's on the verge of becoming a Nazi collaborator. So Beckett goes to Duke Shelby and says, you've got to kill Ada Shelby, Tommy's sister. So we see Duke, he's tracking Ada, and Ada's with her son. But Duke can't bring himself to do it, and even at the end he shouts to Ada, you know, because he sees Beckett coming, and Beckett just shoots her cold blood, bang, in the head. And Tommy, at the time, he is travelling back to Birmingham, not because of Ada, but because of Duke's aunt, who is like Queen of the Gypsies. And she is a twin of a woman that Tommy had a relationship with and bore Duke. You know, I think it was at some kind of gypsy fair, like before everything happened, before the war. And it was like, you know, fucking, he's not really eating, he's drinking, he's doing drugs, and he's writing his memoirs, he's writing this book, and he just wants to be free. He said, can you free me? Can you free me from this life? And she said, if you help Duke, then I will free you from this life. So Tommy and Johnny Dogs, they go back to Birmingham. And he sees it because Tommy, being a gypsy, he sees things, he's a Romani, and he stops the car and he sees Ada in the middle of the road, and he knows that Ada's dead. So he charges back there and he goes into the garrison, right? And this soldier comes up to him and calls him sweetheart and goes, who the fuck is Tommy Shelby? Now, if you remember the black guy from the series, well, he's the only Peaky Blinder left that I recognise. And he's like Duke's right-hand man, and he goes, everyone, this is Tommy Shelby. And the guy goes, sweetheart, who the fuck is Tommy Shelby? And he points the gun under Tommy Shelby's chin. And Tommy, he's cool, he's calm, he's collected. He pulls out a fucking grenade, pops the pin, shoves it down this soldier's fatigues, and fucking the soldier runs outside and you hear the explosion and he dies. And then that's the reintroduction to Tommy Shelby. he goes and beats the living shit out of his son Duke. Then he goes to see his sister Ada, knowing full well that Beckett's gonna come there. They have this gunfight, you know, Beckett manages to escape, and then Tommy's like, he goes to his son and he's like, right, we're gonna put a plan into action. And they put this plan into action, and they get Stag, Stephen Graham's character. They get a few of the old faces, and basically they decide that they're going to take down Beckett. They're going to take down this Nazi operation. They're going to use Duke to go to Beckett and pretend that he's going to betray Tommy. And then it comes really full circle, because they go back to how it started and what led to Tommy's trauma from the First World War. Tommy does tunnelling. He tunnels under Liverpool. He tunnels under, and he sends the boats, right, that are packed with explosives. Stag does, and then he goes into all these like Nazis, blows it up, and Stag jumps into the water, manages to dodge all the bullets, and then it's on. The Peaky Blinders storm where Beckett is, and where like the warehouse that's housing on the docks in Liverpool, that's housing all the counterfeit millions that's going to be used to flood and bring down the British economy. And bear in mind, this is 1940, and this is how Nazi Germany trying to end the war, you know, because we're the last holdout, we're the last resistance. And Tommy, he breaks through the tunnel, the Peaky Blinders lead the charge, and then he gets this like mine, and he fucking just runs the mine, throws it, fucking blows up all the counterfeit money, and Beckett realises that his plan to end the war and his betrayal of England and like to win it for Nazi Germany is over. So he gets in, there's a shootout, Beckett gets in his car, and Beckett's driving his car, and Tommy's there. And Tommy before this has spoken to the Gypsy Queen, Duke's aunt, who's the spitting image of the girl that he was in love with, the mother of Duke, you know, who Tommy loved long before all these other romances and dalliances, long before, you know, before First World War, and he went away. And he's had sex with the aunt because she can like shape shift and change kind of thing, you know. She embodies the personality of her dead sister, you know, with all this Romany gypsy fucking hocus pocus that they do. And she said that there's a bullet with your name on it, and your son will put you out of your misery, or you will put your son out of his misery. And Tommy just stands there, right, gun out. He takes two shots, one to the torso, one that looks like fucking like near his liver. So he takes two fucking shots, but he still holds still, and then he puts a bullet in Beckett's head, and thereby saying, before this, he spoke with Stag when they were planning this, we will save the country, we will be heroes, but no one will ever know about the operation and what we did. And then Tommy's dying, but all the Peaky Blinders, Stag, Johnny Dogs, all the other guys, the old faces are there. And Tommy says to Duke, do it. Kill me with the bullet that your aunt gave you. Take lead of the Peaky Blinders. Put me out of my misery. Put me to rest. And Duke doesn't want to do it. He's crying, but he plucks up the courage. He puts the gun into Tommy's chest and shoots. And then Tommy dies, and he says he's free. And there's that line in it where he says he nearly had it all, but nearly's not enough, or something like that. And then as it ends, they have the gypsy funeral, just like they had Ada's funeral, where they burned her in a caravan in a previous scene. You see them all marching up there. Tommy's other son who's fighting on the front line has come back. You've got Ada's two children there. You've got Duke, obviously, who's now the leader of the Peaky Blinders and is Tommy's heir. And he's also got the manuscript from Tommy's book. You know, we don't know if he burns it. We're not sure if he burns it or he keeps it. But he said the next chapter, the last chapter, the final chapter, is to be written by Duke. And we realise that there's been a series that's been commissioned. There's going to be 2 more series, and it's going to be 10 years after the war, and it's going to be like based around Duke. So we're going to have that. And yeah, you see Tommy Shelby, he's finally free. He's being burned in the caravan. His ashes are going to spread. And that's the end of that part of the Peaky Blinders, because every one of them is dead, apart from Finn Shelby, who's in exile, so maybe he's going to be one of the main antagonists. And of course you've got Michael Gray's child, who also could come into this. So I'm looking forward to the next 2 series. I'm really excited. I was never the biggest fan of Peaky Blinders. I've never held it in the same regard as I hold Gomorrah, Sabora, The Sopranos. But I will say this, the first 2 series of Peaky Blinders were blinding, outstanding television. It fell off very bad. Season 3 is appalling. Season 4 is the best series because Luca Changretta and the Sicilian Mafia is one of the best storylines. 5 and 6 was absolutely abysmal. I even think ardent Peaky Blinders fans will tell you that it's absolutely abysmal. It's atrocious. It wasn't a fitting end to the story. But this movie, Peaky Blinders, The Immortal Man, is an epic movie. It's a thriller. It's tight. It's 5 stars. And it's everything you want as a fitting end to the story of Tommy Shelby. Anyway, have a good one. Latest peeps. I'll talk to you soon. Bish bash bosh. Always a pleasure and never a chore.